Hi VC, it's Rob here with another video, and this is more vinyl that I've been picking up over the last couple of weeks, a few bits and pieces from Amazon. So in the background I thought I'd play Grace Lightman and Silver Eater, and I got this about a month ago and it's never been off the turntable. Now, people who follow me on Instagram will know that I've got this album. So it's Echo and the Bunnymen, the John Peel sessions from 79 to 83, and there's a very young looking Ian McCulloch on the back there with John Peel, a few other members of the band. And this is a double album. Nice gatefold there with some of the tapes that were sent to John Peel. This is just on basic black vinyl, so for all you black vinyl fans out there, you'll be happy, Sam. So yeah, there we go, that's what it looks like. So for someone like me who's a big Echo and the Bunnymen fan, this is a must-have really. Came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's a really nice mixture, stuff from, you know, Heaven Up Here and Crocodiles, stuff from Ocean Rain, and it's, you know, what you come to expect from Echo and the Bunnymen, scratchy guitars and just a rawness that not even the studio, I mean the studio albums did maintain that Echo and the Bunnymen live feel. I mean, I saw them live and they were amazing. Ian McCulloch, and they were just such a tight band, great musicians, and yeah, for someone like me who's a big Echo and the Bunnymen fan, I had to pick this up. It's got all the usuals on it, you know, the Killing Moon's on here with Silver's on here, and some of the earlier stuff, Over the Wall, all that jazz. It's a really nice collection, so if you're into Echo and the Bunnymen, I really recommend that you maybe give that one a listen. So, what else have I picked up? Picked this album up, and it's Heavy Soul, Paul Weller, and I've not got that many Paul Weller albums on vinyl. All on CD, of course. Nice picture of Paul there. But you take the album out from there, which isn't my favourite. But you get some nice pictures with this album. So you've got some nice, really nice pictures there of the band recording the album. And this is on Island Records. So, I mean, this came out in '97, just after Paul Weller's most successful album. You get the lyrics as well. Another picture there. So Paul Weller's most successful album was Stanley Road, and that came out at the height of Britpop. You know, it was renamed The Modfather, and after Wildwood, which I think was 92 or 93, and then Stanley Road, Paul Weller was in a real rich vein of form, really strong songs. But when this album came out, it had a bit of a backlash because commercially it didn't do as well as Stanley Road. It did, I think it did get to #1, but it was soon out of the charts. I mean, it's a bit rough around the edges, but I really like it. Real dirty opener with Heavy Soul, Peacock Suit, great mod anthem, Up in Susie's Room, Should Have Been There to Inspire You, Science. And this was only £12 on Amazon. I'm always going on Amazon and seeing if there's any bargains to be had. And now and again, you know, it even surprises me. So for £12, I had to pick that up. Paul Weller and Heavy Soul. Now, I want to talk about a band who, I mean, I've been watching the VC for probably a year now. I've been on the VC since January, and I've watched countless videos, and I've never seen anybody show anything by these guys. So it's the Sleaford Mods, and this is called English Tapas. So it's Jason Williamson and Andrew Fern. So you get the words there, and that's Jason, Andrew. So Jason is the guy who does the lyrics, and Andrew does the backbeats. And you can describe this as electronic punk. So these guys got together just over 10 years ago when Jason was in a pub and Andrew was just playing his own music, sort of minimalist style of his own backbeats. And this album's on Rough Trade. They signed to Rough Trade in 2017 after being sort of hand to mouth sort of arrangement sort of at the beginning of 2010-11. They've released EPs, but actual albums there's I think there's about 4 of them, and they're really successful in the UK. Sort of got a real, it's like an underground fan base who live phenomenal. There's not another group like them in the UK. I'm not aware of them anyway. And I'll sort of show you this album as well. This is Key Markets, and you know, Jason the singer, he rants about unemployment and celebrity culture, but it's from the heart and it's highly amusing. It's really funny as well. You know, I played this to friends and you know, they've openly, you know, burst out laughing. You know, there's a serious side. There's a lot of, I mean, this is on green vinyl. You know, in the UK, I'm not going to describe them as an underclass. It's like a working class, people who are maybe working on short-term hours. I mean, that's what Jason did for a while. He was in bands in the early 90s, and he was trying to be like everybody else, but it wasn't working. And one day he just thought, you know, 2 fingers to this, I'm just going to do what I feel passionately about, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you know, from a slow start, they've built up a lot of momentum. I saw a documentary about them that is really interesting. So it's kind of, you know, if you think sort of the Streets, Ian Dury, John Cooper Clarke, if you like punk, I think there'll be something for you here. I don't think they've actually made it over to America. I've certainly not seen anyone in America show anything by the Sleaford Mods. You know, it's inspired, I mean, there's inspiration by the Wu-Tang Clan, and Jason, it's like I said before, his lyrics, he sort of talks with a backbeat, and it probably sounds unappealing, but it's really infectious. You know, he talks about people in dead-end jobs, people who are just working for the weekend, no political affiliation, certainly not conservative, but you know, these aren't a socialist band, they're just a band who say it how they feel, and it's a way that a lot of people in the UK feel, you know. And he doesn't like being sort of dubbed the voice for a, you know, lost generation or anything like that, but it certainly feels like that to me. But yeah, if you're not aware of the Sleaford Mods, they're from a place called Sleaford, which is just outside Nottingham in the East Midlands of the UK. So yeah, I thought I'd, I mean, this album, you know, every track on this album contains expletives. So, you know, it's not one of those that you're going to play with the kids around, or if the mother-in-law pops around, you know, to do a bit of hoovering. I wouldn't put this one up, or else, you know, she might make a sharp exit. But yeah, go and check the Sleaford Mods out and see what you think of them. Now, I thought I'd show this album, and it's the Vril Society and Course of the Satellite. And these guys are from Liverpool. And this album came out in 2018, so it's a nice checkered inner, and this one's on red vinyl. So The Vril Society, I saw them in 2017. They supported a band called Palace, who I showed on my last video, and I didn't know anything about them. I always try and watch the support band, because you never know, you just never know who it's going to be, and more times I always enjoy the support band, sometimes better than the band I've gone to see, and the Vril Society probably ticked that box. I mean, Mike Ellis came on stage, well, it's only in a small venue called the Harley in Sheffield, not really a stage as such. There were probably only about 100 people there, maybe a little bit more. Barefooted, attitude, a bit Mick Jaggerish, and the band behind him didn't really look as though they belonged in the same place. Now, earlier on this year they split up, so like a lot of bands do, they produced an album, they had a tour booked, they've never released anything after this album. Well, this album is, he said artistic differences, you don't know what's bubbling under, they're only in their early 20s. I've seen some interviews on YouTube, and Mike's a bit of a character, pretty laid back, but he's got his head screwed on. So whether he's going to have a solo career or join another band, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is quite Tame Impala-ish, psychedelic, and check them out. I really like this album. It's a shame they split up. So yeah, Vril Society and Cause of the Satellite. Now, I thought I'd show an album by probably my favourite female singer at the moment. It's Jane Weaver and the Silver Globe, and this was written and produced by Jane. Came out in 2017, and it's on Bird Records. So I went to see Jane about 6 weeks ago now. Manchester, blew me away, and call her a psychedelic goddess. From the Liverpool area. She's in her late 40s, but for me, she's the best female artist in the UK. I don't know whether she's done anything in America tour-wise. Certainly if she did come over to America, she wouldn't be playing big venues. She don't really play big venues in the UK, but you can tell there's a real love for her. People who go and see her are really into her. And this is more of the same, really good stuff. So yeah, Jane Weaver and the Silver Globe. Now, one of my favourite channels on the VC, there's so many, and one of them is Dan, Dots and Loops up in Canada, and he did a video probably a couple of months ago now, talking about sort of funk and sort of established bands who early in their career produced some really funky albums, and he mentioned a few names that kind of surprised me a little bit, my musical ignorance at times. So we mentioned these guys, and it's Kool and the Gang. And this album's called Wild and Peaceful. So this is from 1973, and it's the I think it's the third album, and this is a really clean copy. And this is really funky. In the UK, sort of 79, Kool and the Gang released Ladies' Night, which was a huge hit. Celebration, of course, everyone plays that at the wedding, and countless Jones versus Jones, Straight Ahead, Take It to the Top, they were in the chart in the early 80s in the UK, but I wasn't really aware about their earlier work. A little bit like Earth, Wind and Fire, I wasn't aware of how funky they were in the early days. It's only since sort of coming on the VC I picked quite a lot of early Earth, Wind and Fire stuff up. Before that it was sort of September and Fantasy and Let's Groove, and it's similar with Kool and the Gang, and I really enjoyed this album. I bought it from King B Records, just outside Manchester. Got some really good stuff in there. So this was a tenner. It's in really good condition. So yeah, Wild and Peaceful by Kool and the Gang. And in Dan's video he also mentioned these guys. And it's Cameo and Cameosis. So again, for me, Cameo in the mid-80s had a big hit with Word Up, and you know, they had quite a few hits in the UK. But this is from 1980, and this is the 5th album, and this is really funky. There's sort of probably one ballad on it, but the rest of it is so funky. And again, I mean, I've never really been looking for cameo albums, and you know, who knows, they might have been under my nose all the time, but I've got a few record fairs to go to in the next few weeks, so I'll be looking out for early sort of funk. It's not easy to find, but when you find it, it's reasonably priced. So yeah, this was £8. So, and it's on a record label I didn't really know much about, Chocolate City. So yeah, something a bit different. Now, I'll talk about these guys. It's the Slits and Cut. So yeah, the Slits. 1979 this album came out, and Slits are a really interesting band. Fronted by Air Up, who was a German national. They had quite a few lineup changes initially, but Palm Olive, the drummer, and Viv Albertine, that was sort of the three who were on the cover of this album. And the Slits, really interesting story, sort of pioneers of sort of females in punk, if you like, from London. So, well, sort of around the 1976, Viv Albertine went to see the Sex Pistols, and she'd never even picked up a guitar before, you know, and before she knew it, she was in the Slits. And they weren't the great musicians at the start, they probably weren't at the end. But Air Up, the singer, she married John Lydon. You know, sadly she died of breast cancer, age 48. And Palm Olive, the drummer, she didn't actually play on this album. Budgie from Susie and the Banshees played on this album. But Viv Albertine, she went out with Sid Vicious. She went to art college with Mick Jones. She's an author as well. She worked in television. Did a really highly acclaimed book, Close, 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 Music, 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 Boys, 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 NME Book of the Year in 2014. And she's fascinating. I mean, if you go on YouTube and just put Viv Albertine, you'll learn a lot about the Slits, and that's what I've done, because I'm sort of a little bit in love with Viv Albertine, which is something a bit special. And this album's really reggae influenced, dub influenced. I mean, they toured with The Clash in '77. You know, they had guys spitting on them. They couldn't really play that well, but Viv Albertine played on the Flying Lizards' first album. There's loads of information about the Slits, and this album's, the more I play it, the more I like it. It's it's really infectious when you first play it, because the Slits were a band who, you know, I remember walking past in record shops and seeing this album, you know, but it frightened me to death when I was 15. I mean, you know, I don't think it frightens me now, but sort of very dubby, just really good. I think it, you know, it's. I mean, they class it as essential, and I think it is essential. You can kind of hear bits of Adam and the Ants and a little bit of Bow Wow Wow as well in the vocal. But yeah, if you're not really checked out the Slits, I mean, this is their only proper album, so it's well worth checking out. So yeah, Cut by the Slits. Now, a couple more to go, and pick this album up. So it's Field Music, and self-titled album from 2005. And this is on blue vinyl. It's a reissue. So when I entered Mazzy's contest, he wanted you to show artists that you want to get complete on. And I've got three. Well, I did have 3 albums by Field Music, but I've got 4 now. I think there's 8 to go at. They're from Sunderland. Brothers David and Peter Brewis. And these kind of there's influences of, I can hear the Beatles, XTC, Tears for Fears, really catchy songs, quick songs, long songs. This album's great. I mean, I've got all the CDs, but I'm just looking at picking the stuff up on vinyl, and it's reasonably priced on Amazon. So if you're not aware of the Field Music, you know, give them a listen and see what you think. So yeah, Field Music. Now, I always like to show a quick compilation. I picked this up for 20 pence, and it's Modern Dance. So you know, if you've got to clean the windows or empty the cat litter, this is a good one to put on. OMD, Joan of Arc, Landscape, Einstein A Go-Go, Fade to Grey, Visage, New Life by Depeche Mode. They're all on here. I don't think there's any Duran Duran, so that's a huge positive. So yeah, this is a really good album for 20 pence. I remember this, I think I actually had this in the early 80s, but it disappeared. So when I saw it for 20 pence, I thought, yeah, I'll have some of that. Now, finally, we got to the end. It's King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. So this came in this package. So straight from Australia. It's on Flightless Records. My son ordered this for me. He has all the King Gizzard stuff, so I've jumped in on that. This is my 5th album by King Gizzard. You actually get a sew-on patch, so I'm not sure I'm going to use that, but it's always nice to get something free. So this is called Infest. I always get it wrong. Infest the Rat's Nest. And this is something like the 19th album or something like that. So my son got me this for my birthday. It was on my birthday in August, but it's only come quite recently. It's on sort of it says yellow and black vinyl. There's a slight sort of smoky yellow in it. There's 3 different issues of this, and this is, like I say, direct from Australia. But it's thrash metal. I mean, King Gizzard, they've done jazz, psychedelic, they do a bit of everything. I mean, the last album, Fishing for Fishes, it's one of my favourite albums of the year. When I do my favourite albums 2019, that'll be up in the top 10, I would think. I don't think this will be up in the top 10, but I do quite like it. It's sort of, it's really heavy stuff. I mean, you're not going to play this when you've got a hangover, but yeah, it's just typical of King Gizzard. You know, you never know what to expect, and I've got loads of respect for them. Young guys, great musicians, great guys, and I mean, this is a concept album, so Earth's dying, everyone's dying on Earth, so first track's Planet B, but anyone with a bit of money, they're going to Mars, so the second track is Mars for the Rich. Track 4's Superbug, so that's what's killing everyone on Earth, but they all live happily ever after, because track 9 is called Hell, so everyone goes to hell, and so do the people on Mars. So it's a really it's a bit of a nursery rhyme, really. So yeah, this is, like I say, it's not really my cup of tea, but I'm going to get complete on King Gizzard, because something about them, I really like them. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably have another album coming out before Christmas. My son actually got me tickets. We're both going to go and see him next Thursday in Manchester, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard and Infest the Rat's Nest. So that's it from me. Something for everyone there, I think. If you're a new subscriber to my channel, thanks for subscribing. If you're an old subscriber, thanks for hanging in there and watching my videos, because there's a lot of people on the VC and spend 25 minutes watching my video. I really appreciate it. So that's it from me. The weekend's coming up, and surprise, surprise, there's a record fair on Saturday, so I'll be working Saturday morning and then earning a bit of extra cash, and then I'll go into Manchester and see what I can pick up. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this video, and bye for now.